We're a week into the season, and we have free agents and two-star pitchers to talk about here on the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast. Welcome to the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast. I'm Clay Link, here with FSWA Hall of Famer Todd Zola. We are sponsored by Vivid Seats. Appreciate their sponsorship of the program. And Todd, good to be on with you, man. I imagine as somebody who has Adam Duvall in a lot of leagues, you're riding high today.
Yeah, but he's not playing today.
Oh, no.
What am I going to do? Oh, no. Yeah, no, it's been fun and home run in Detroit, so it's not just Fenway Park. And, hey, you know what? Everybody's got someone playing well early. Mine just happens to be Duvall.
We were talking a lot of underdog fantasy in the lead up to opening day, and you said several times that Adam Duvall was one of your late outfield targets, and man, looks like you nailed that one. At least you should find a way into your lineups this week, and I know you're doing pretty well opening week on underdog.
Yeah, I mean, it's as I joke with you and James on SXM, this is the smallest, sampley, siziest thing I'll ever say. And I probably should just not say it, but I started. So 19 of my 23 teams are in first or second place, cashing so far, with another in third and a fourth and a fifth. So, no, it's been fun. It's been 1 week. I wanted to try to do some research more than anything else as far as, tracking underdog, what's going on. But, I mean, you can see where you are in your league, but there's not a whole much else to see. So, I'm not sure what kind of research I can glean, but I'll probably look again sometime soon. But, it was whatever. I wanted to find out how to look and was pleasantly surprised. I'm not doing any victory laps yet.
Well, I'm happy that you're off to a nice start, man.
It's fun.
Good.
It's fun.
Underdog is a lot of fun, and had a lot of fun doing those drafts, the dingers heading into opening day.
Yeah.
Not a ton of news to touch on today, Todd, though. I did see Darik Hall of the Phillies landed on the 15-day IL, the 10-day IL for hitters.
Right.
Another blow for the Philadelphia Phillies. Of course, Hall was already filling in at first base for Rhys Hoskins, so now they bring up Cody Clemens. Any real fantasy relevant shakeup here? Like anybody entering into playing time, or is Cody Clemens, anybody else here, pretty much NL only?
I think it's only. I think Alec Boehm moves over to first, and Edmundo Sosa plays a lot of third. I think the more relevant thing to talk about real quickly is, because this is a little bit interesting note with this, is people may be wondering if Bryce Harper might be accelerated, right? I mean, they have not put him, the Phillies haven't put Harper on the IL, 60-day IL. Mm-hmm. So the possibility exists of him coming up before May 30th or May 31st. But the catch is he's able to swing, but the doctors are more concerned about aggravating or rupturing the repair by a slide. So it's not even the swinging. It's the times he doesn't hit a home run and he has to slide into a base. The doctors are concerned that he could rupture the repair. So I think that's I never heard that before. I think that's interesting. You never hear about it for pitchers because pitchers aren't going to slide. So I think that's a little interesting. I think the obvious thing, maybe Harper comes up sooner. I think as soon as the doctors feel that it's safe, I think we'll see him, but I don't think they're going to accelerate it due to that reason.
Yeah, he took batting practice on the field on Wednesday, Harper did, which is a pretty significant step, taking BP on the field, although they did kind of caution afterwards that maybe this doesn't really move up his timeline, maybe at the end of May, but it sounds like June still more realistic.
Because it's not to do with his ability to hit the ball. It's to do with the stability of the actual repair.
Yeah, just maybe don't get too carried away with
exactly
thinking Harper could get expedited. Josh Donaldson, the other injury news I saw today, expected to wind up on the IL. So maybe they bring Maybe they bring back Oswald Peraza, but maybe they could also use Oswaldo Cabrera there, DJ LeMahieu, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. I don't know that there's really one player in New York who benefits here.
Well, Cabrera's been playing a lot anyway in the outfield.
True, yeah.
So I think Peraza, if he happens to be the one called up, could play. And LeMahieu is, if it already wasn't playing every day, maybe in a different position, it's kind of solidified. So yeah, I think that we'll see more. I mean, the whole Aaron Hicks scenario is a little bit curious out there, complaining about not playing, then he does play, and then he doesn't play well, so he's not playing anymore. Or it's only been one day, but even so. So yeah, I think Peraza could be the potential call up there, and we'll see. We'll see how much he plays, because Anthony Volpe, all right, he's hitting whatever it is, one something, but he's walking and running. So I don't think there's anything to be concerned about just yet.
Yeah, I'm with you. I know he's not really lighting up the StatCast guns yet, but yeah, you love to see him getting on base and running. That'll give him a nice fantasy baseline. Let's talk about some pickups from the staff league last night. Now, this is a staff league you are not a part of, the RotoWire.
Did I miss it already? I thought I looked. And
no,
anyway.
You did not miss a FAAB run. That is something I'm perpetually worried about. I wake up in the middle of the night thinking I missed a FAAB run somewhere.
The initial league that I was in, third SK3, was Thursdays.
Yep.
And I missed
we do this for the staff leagues to just kind of break up, because we have so many leagues that do FAAB on Sundays. So.
Yeah, but those of us that don't have family to deal with on Sunday like everything on Sunday. But anyway, that's just me. Selfish me.
Yeah, this has kind of been a long-standing tradition to do FAAB on this league on a Thursday night, Friday morning. So we had our first FAAB run last night, and the number one pickup was Pierce Johnson, who you might expect, just given it's a 16-team league, needing a closer. But then the top bat was Joey Wiemer, and on XM last week we talked about Wiemer coming up for Luis Urias. So far this season, with the Brewers, only 3 strikeouts in his first 19 plate appearances coming into action today. You put any stock into that number, James? Not James, sorry. I just hosted 2 hours with James. But do you put any stock into that low strikeout number? Or because strikeout and walk rates stabilize pretty quickly. Or do you still think there may be some swing and miss concerns here with
the stable? I won't. I know you're going on vacation soon, so I won't get into the fact that stabilization is a misnomer. It's misinterpreted. It's not a misnomer. It's misinterpreted. But the fact that he isn't striking out Wiemer a lot is a positive sign. I mean, this is not like a short fix, right? You just mentioned Urias is out up to 8 weeks, so this is something that it's actionable. And Bryce Terang is going to be playing a lot, with Brian Anderson flipping between the infield and outfield, and Wiemer getting, it's kind of like a Wiemer and Terang are benefiting with Anderson's ability to flip between the infield and outfield, facilitating that. So interested. Don't know if I'm mixed league interested, though, to be honest. I know the numbers are interesting early on, but I don't know that I'm mixed league interested yet.
I'm probably not at 15 out of 100, but I did get Wiemer in one spot where it was a first come first serve thing. A lot of Brewers fans in that league, so got the added bonus of ticking them off. So it was kind of fun.
I guess I'm interested if it upgrades my bench, or I can stash him.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm very interested there. I'm doing a lot of thinking about my gameplay in 12-team mixed, etc. I'm going to be writing about it on Z-Files soon, but I don't think I'm aggressive enough on short samples. Sometimes you just have to make the move without having all the data there, with the potential of the data. I'm not a card player, but sometimes you need to not fold right away because you need to see the flop first. So, we're making this call on Wiemer without the flop. It's not a perfect
That's
analogy.
A good analogy.
It's not perfect, though. I mean, but luck and skill, it's not perfect. But sometimes you got to hang around to get lucky or to find out if it's real. And I
Not
think
perfect, but I think that is a good analogy.
Yeah, I
mean,
mean,
we're waiting on the flop with Wiemer.
Yeah, anybody who plays poker with me knows if Zola bets, it's either got two aces or an ace and something else, because otherwise he ain't betting. Well, that's kind of the way I play fantasy. If I pick up a guy, it's because every single underlying metric is good. I think I need to loosen up in both areas.
Interesting. Well, Ji-Hwan Bae went for 12
Ooh.
in this league behind Pierce Johnson and Joey Wiemer.
Love him.
You're a big fan?
You happen to watch him kind of become a pest to my Red Sox over the weekend. Yes. Kind of like Brian Anderson's ability. Ooh, I think it's McGill and the Mets is down. I did not see how. Now he's up and he's shaking it off. So it looks like he may have just been a little dramatic. Stay on the mound there, Tyler, knowing that we're doing a podcast. Oh, we got hit off the ankle on a line drive. Okay. Never mind. Never mind. I'm not saying he's all right, but it's not like right off the heel. Directly off the heel. Yeah, we're both in pain just watching it. Anyway, so yes, Ji-Hwan went on Bae. Like Anderson flipping to an infield and outfield, Bae's doing the same between second base and outfield, actually not allowing anybody who's trying to figure out playing time early has no idea what's going on in Pittsburgh, because just Bae's playing almost every day and everybody else is just moving in and out. Like him though, the speed, hit a home run in Fenway Park, defense at both spots. I was aware of him in the spring, but I was not. I underplayed the potential.
I kind of overlooked the potential for playing time and the fact that Ji-Hwan Bae was in the 90th percentile for sprint speed last year, according to StatCast. So I didn't realize he was quite that much of a burner. Between second base and outfield, looks like he'll have a spot.
Yep.
And 12 is a little steep for me, but I get it. Behind Wiemer and Bae, I got Larnach for 11. And considering the relative pricing on some of these hitters, I'm pretty thrilled to get Larnach at 11 because batting cleanup against righties, and it seems like the Twins really like him in that spot. Now, Joey Gallo's been swinging it better, so maybe Gallo eventually moves up to the cleanup spot against righties and bumps Larnach down, but really like what he can bring to the table as a guy who was a pretty highly touted prospect years ago.
He and Kirilloff came up together. Kirilloff a little bit ahead of Larnach. They kind of paralleled in how they produced early and then they didn't produce and they got hurt. Larnach's kind of, is he post-hype yet? Not really sure, but I agree. Some of these pickups are short-term, and I think you need to think, as I heard you say in the XM show with short-term goggles. I think you need to think that way. But Larnach could be more of a long-term play. And I like the fact Gallo is hitting, 221, which, it's only 220. It's 50 points above what he's hit lately. So that's pretty darn good. I don't know if it's cleanup worthy yet. I don't think you want to kill rallies with a strikeout at the cleanup spot. It may earn him 5th or 6th. I don't think it moves into cleanup yet.
Luke Raley was a hitter picked up for 8, who's playing a fair amount. Then on the pitching side, Seth Lugo for 9, Kyle Muller for 9. Bryce Elder, who I had a bid on, I got him in Derek Van Riper's Mocky League, but didn't get him here for 7. He lines up to face the Reds at home next week, Bryce Elder, so I imagine he'll be a pretty popular ad in the NFBC. Then here's an interesting one. Drey Jameson. Todd. Drey Jameson got a win in long relief last week, then gets his first save of the season. I believe it was his first career save. 2-inning save for Drey Jameson. Scott McGuff has had some issues in his return stateside. So I look at Jameson, see an avenue to him potentially saving some more games, an avenue to him maybe stretching out and being useful for fantasy as a starter. So I think he's one of those guys that you pick up, improve your bench, and see what happens.
Yeah, real quick, going back to Raley, I love that move. The Rays love their platoons. Raley is left-handed batter. Starting the year, it looked like Harold Ramirez was going to be the guy, and Yandy Diaz. They were very right-handed. Raley has a chance to get strong side of the platoon playing time. And in the NFBC or daily leagues, you can find places to use him, right, with the half week. I heard you guys talking on the podcast on the XSM show. I'm in slight disagreement with James about Seth Lugo. He didn't really move the needle much for James. I like San Diego Padres starting pitching streamers, and I think Lugo. I'm higher than James. James is like, we tried to, we've seen this before. Yes, we have. He's perfectly right, 100% right. I just think that the situation is a little different. We know he's a starter. He's in the rotation. You can stream him at home. I'm a little bit higher. And you mentioned Elder. Love that. It's interesting that Schuster's back. They were able to use an injury exemption with Colin McHugh to get Schuster back up on the roster.
Starting tonight, I believe.
Yeah, when you send a guy down, it has to be 10 days unless he's an injury replacement. He couldn't replace Fried because that move was already done. But Colin McHugh going on the IL freed up the loophole, if you will, to bring Schuster up to get him to start for tonight. Now, I don't know, it's not the yips, but he was pretty nervous, Schuster was, that first game. Dodd's first game, and Dylan Dodd did fine. Different people, etc. But I'm not giving up on Schuster yet. But to me, if it's still a competition between Dodd, Schuster, and Elder to see who sticks when some of these guys start coming back, Kyle Wright, etc., Fried, I think Dodd's got the leg up right now.
Yeah, Dodd got good command and looked really good in his debut, especially compared to Schuster. Maybe Schuster performs better once the nerves settle down a little bit, but I think I'd take Dodd over Schuster right now. They do have Soroka coming back eventually, and but I like Elder in the short term as a guy who just home against the Reds, man. Yeah, see what happens, and you can cut him loose, or maybe you have a piece that ends up helping you more than just that one turn through the rotation. Here's a bit of news that we didn't talk about at the top of the show, but Francisco Alvarez was called up, Todd, and he went in the stake league for $3. Check your league eligibility. He may be UT only to start, but catcher and Omar Narvaez looking at a couple months out. So I know the pitching staff likes throwing to Tomas Nido, but at least during Francisco Alvarez's starts, I think this kid can hit and could clear the bar at the catcher position in 2 catcher leagues.
I think so. I think if he was drafted even at DH in 15-team leagues. So I absolutely think he can. I think he'll hit. You kind of mentioned everything. I think he'll hit. And how quickly will he get 5 games, which is the rule book definition? I know NFBC uses 10. I don't know, 2 weeks. I mean, if he catches 2 or 3 times a week, he should have it pretty quick, right? I would think 5 games. Mm-hmm. 10, a little bit different, unless he just hits a lot. Now, using Alvarez at DH is tough right now because you don't have a second catcher. So if something were to happen to Nido, you would then lose your DH. And I don't know how many teams want to do that. I mean, MJ Melendez has played a lot, but he's played in the outfield. Mm-hmm. Right. So anytime a catcher is supposedly going to DH a lot, I like to see if they're carrying a third catcher, because that really facilitates it. I'm trying to think Toronto right now, what they're doing. I'll take a quick look, but without a third catcher, I don't know how much Alvarez will. Of course, Toronto's got Varsho to fill in if needed. So yeah, they're covered. I don't know what the Mets would do. If I don't know, can Luis Guillermo catch? I'm just making up names. I don't know. I'm not making up names. Maybe Daniel Vogelbach, get him behind there, huh?
Yeah, he'd just be like a wall back there that you could throw it off of. Yeah, that's possible. But yeah, I didn't have a bid on Alvarez myself. But yeah, if you're, I think he can hit. So if you're okay with limited playing time but with good skills, I think, if you're okay with that trade-off, he could be a decent option. But yeah, not a guy who's quite reached a high priority level for me just yet.
With Vogelbach and Pham platooning at DH, it's not like the Mets need a bat in that area.
I picked up Michael Grove on a $0 ad, dropping Adam Ottavino. I need a starter. So at Arizona this weekend.
I was going to say 0. That's nice.
Yeah, I mean, for a 16-team league.
Yeah, I mean,
I was good with it.
I talk about how I'm a little concerned about not concerned. I'm optimistic about I'm concerned about streaming against them. But the reason is I'm optimistic for the Diamondbacks offense to click, but it hasn't yet. So I'm not hesitating to stream against them yet. I think sometime this season, once the outfield gets it in gear, they're going to start hitting a little bit.
Well, let's get into the 2-start pitchers for next week. But real quick, we will pause briefly to bring you a brief word from our Blue Wire sponsors. All right, we are back on the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast. Clay Link here with Todd Zola. We are going through our projected starters grid at RotoWire and looking at all the 2-start options for the week of April 10th. 2023. 0 to 5. 0, of course, meaning we're hands off. We're not starting him anywhere. 5 meaning we are starting him everywhere. So let's get going right from the top, Todd. Zach Gallen versus Milwaukee at Miami. It's been a rough start so far for Gallen, but
can I to jump in?
Yeah,
hit your refresh button.
Oh, I just did. So maybe something changed this last few minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, we got Ryan Nelson for 2 and moved Gallen just to 1.
I'm not seeing that actually.
Okay,
sure you have it set for April 10th?
No, I don't. I have it set for April 3rd. So I'm an idiot. Oh gosh!
I remember that. He was on our list last week, Ryan Nelson.
Well, I clicked off of it. Not that you guys. Again, here's an off-air conversation between me and Clay. I clicked off of it when I looked up the depth chart to find out from the Mets, and so I brought it back. Figured it refreshed, but it brought it back to this week's. All right. Ignore what we just said for the last 2 minutes, and Zach Gallen's a 5.
Yeah, I was going to say, even though he's gotten off to a rough start, he's still 5 for me in this
I've gotten off to a rough start.
It's all good. We've all been there. No 2-star pitchers for Atlanta, but again, Bryce Elder. And there is an outside chance Elder makes 2, I guess, if Kyle Wright. I think Kyle Wright's due to return on the 11th, but if not, maybe.
So Strider went last night.
Yesterday, yeah.
Gave up who hit the home run off him?
I missed that. Didn't see it.
Yeah, it was a pretty good blast, and I'll look it up. But yeah, Strider pitched well, but gave up a 3-run homer, and was at San Diego. So it'll come to me, and people can look up, whatever. But yeah, no, he did. Oh, the Battle of the Mustaches. Matt Carpenter took him deep.
Oh gosh, his doppelganger.
Yeah, the Battle of the Mustaches. Carp took him deep for a 3-run shot. Otherwise, Strider, everybody, and I heard this in the radio. This is not me. Strider needs more pitches. He's got 2 different sliders, so that's kind of like 2 different pitches.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. But I'm not going to panic because Matt Carpenter hits a lot of home runs. It was fun though.
He hit a bunch last year. All right, for Baltimore, it's Kyle Gibson at home against Oakland, then at the White Sox. Same for youngster Grayson Rodriguez, who gets the call. Kyle Bradish on the IL with a foot contusion. So we'll see. I'd imagine Grayson is able to pitch well enough to stick around long term. It's not a given, but highly touted prospect, really interesting right-hander with really good stuff plus numbers in the spring, by the way. Sarris's stuff plus seemed to like him. And so for Gibson versus Oakland at the White Sox, Gibson's 2-0, but I think I'm going to give him, with these matchups, a 3, and then with Grayson, I think I'll give him a 2.
Yeah, I'm kind of in lockstep. Gibson isn't striking batters out, but he's getting the job done. The White Sox, aren't they a little bit dinged up a tiny bit at this point?
Well, we lost Eloy already.
Yeah, well, this is not, we did not pre-record that for the podcast.
This is not a recording.
We could add that in for next year's podcast already. Mm-hmm. We can just put that note in. That's kind of not good. Whatever. I mean, yes, but Moncada's a little dinged up. So I guess it's just Jimenez. So it's not the rest of the guys are come back healthy. Point being, that could be a little bit of a tough matchup. I am in lockstep with a 3 and a 2. But that Gibson one, a little bit nervous because regression monster will catch up.
Yeah, and Grayson's an unknown, but did pitch okay in his debut. So
he got rocked early, then settled down.
Yeah, he settled in. So, okay, 3 on Gibson, 2 on Grayson. Now, for the Boston Red Sox, Nick Pivetta, he was on our list last week, and that just goes to show it really is an example of this all being extremely tentative, this exercise. And we try our best, and we make our best guesses on the grid, but there were 4 postponements yesterday, Todd.
Well, he wasn't one, but
he wasn't one, true, but yeah. I mean, there's just everything's so shuffled around now,
right? And those postponements, to be honest, not that it matters. Your point is very well taken, and is should be kept in mind. But the 4 postponements were all played today, and I think the pitching probably isn't going to be changed because they were all in advance. But no, the point's well taken. Especially Pivetta was scheduled to face Detroit in the second one, and he didn't do that well against Pittsburgh in the first. Now it's Tampa at Tampa, which you don't love. All right, Angels at home, I'll take. But I mean, last week it was like a 4. I didn't give him a 4, but I was like, I'm picking up Pivetta. I'm not picking up. I'm not even 100% sure that I'm using him everywhere that I picked him up with this one.
Yeah, pretty disappointing, and that is just the cautionary tale there on Nick Pivetta. And somebody, I forget who it was, but one of our listeners did a study a couple years ago looking at just how often projected 2-start starters end up making that second start. It's only, 50, 60% of the time. So while I think this is a worthwhile exercise, just always know that the second start is very iffy.
Right. No, and take that. We know a little bit more when we set our lineups Monday, and that's why I do heck, from the time today till Sunday, there's changes, and that's why I put the update to the notes on the site. And I'm sure there's changes during the week. But Garrett Whitlock, though. All right, so the Pivetta, I'm going to go 3.
Okay, I'm going 1 on Pivetta. Okay. But I got you down as a 3.
All right. I mean, I'm still all right.
Whitlock, just given he's coming back, I'm probably only going to give a 1, but I do like the pitcher, and he'd be a guy that I think, if he's out there, you scoop up, put him on your bench, see how he fares.
I'm not the put on your bench, see how he fares guy, because he ends up starting good and you lost those starts. He pitched well in his rehab. He struck out 8 and walked 1 across 6. 6 innings is enough for me to start him next week. I'm going to give him a 3.
All right. I'm going to bump him up to 2, but I got you as a
Okay. It was in Portland, but it was more the fact he was able to go 6 innings, and I know that may not be a high pitch count because he was so efficient at AA, but to me it still shows that it's not as if it's a 50 pitch and he's done. I think, I like the signs.
I think I'd roll the dice on Whitlock over Pivetta, so I got a 2 on Whitlock and 1 on
I'll go
Pivetta.
2.9 and 3.1.
Okay, that sounds good. Now, Drew Smiley seemed to be getting by last year on some smoke and mirrors and rocked in his debut. So, versus Seattle at the Dodgers, this may be a 0 for me. Those matchups, I just can't risk lighting my ratios on fire.
Yeah, no, I wrote about him, I believe, in the first Todd's takes, and I think he's a home streamer. Seattle's tough. And at Dodgers, no, thank you. I'm gonna go with 0.
Connor Overton, Luis Sessa, let's be honest, 2 of the worst back end starters in the game. Connor Overton actually had quite a few swings and misses in his debut, but his K per 9 is right around 5 per 9 for his career. So Connor Overton and Luis Sessa both 0s for me.
Yeah, I mean, I assume you were watching the games, and by the sound of the announcers, especially during the Sessa game, he's a Cy Young candidate. That's just
his slider looked okay at times.
All hometown announcers are like that. I got a kick out of that. No, I'm
his
with you on
fastball's hittable though.
It's kind of a medium ball, really. To be
It's
honest.
not really fastball.
But no, yeah, I'm going 0, and once Ashcraft has 2, we'll have something to talk about.
Now Shane Bieber's got to face the Yankees, but that's at home, and then he's at Washington. So Bieber's going to be a 5 for me. That one you don't have to overthink at all. German Marquez is at home against St. Louis, and then at Seattle. Anytime he's at home, really kind of wipes him out. But St. Louis, top to bottom, really is a scary lineup, and maybe one that I didn't really have in my head as like a top offense in baseball coming into the season. But now when I see them on the schedule, STL, whether it be home or away, I kind of cringe a little bit and try to stray away from it.
It's kind of like Tampa, right? In that they don't have the 40 home run boppers.
Yeah.
But there's not an easy out in that lineup. Well, no, I don't think there's an easy. I was going to say a catcher, but I forgot there's a new catcher. There's not an easy out in that lineup. The O'Neill situation is still up in the air. We'll see how that fleshes out.
Yeah, very strange situation with Tyler O'Neill.
Yeah, I think people are aware. He dogged it a little bit when he was sent. Why was he sent? But that he was sent. And he kind of dogged it and was thrown out, and only Marmel benched him. And I think what's happened since is more about his reaction than the actual play itself. And I think Marmel was a little bit taken aback by some of the things that were said, et cetera, as opposed to, learn my lesson. I'm going to try hard next time, Skip. A little more defensive on O'Neill than what probably should have occurred. But anyway, and we won't know. Maybe we'll know. I can look now, but it's a night game. I don't think the lineups are out just yet, but I'm curious to see if O'Neill's in the lineup tonight.
Yeah, you don't want to be in the skipper's doghouse less than a week into the season, but it was just very strange that O'Neill said publicly, this should have been kept in house. So he was not happy with how that was handled. So butting heads with O'Neill and Marmol already early on this season. So back to 2-star pitchers though. German Marquez is 0, right?
If it was anybody but Marquez, I'm going to give him a 1, but I don't think I would actually do that if I had him, but I don't have him, so it's easy for me to say. He is a good pitcher. I'll give him a 1, but
maybe in an NL only, perhaps. Dylan Cease at Minnesota versus Baltimore. I'm going to go ahead and give him a 5. I mean, I don't know how I couldn't give him a 5.
I mean, just because I didn't have him ranked in the top 5 doesn't mean he's not a good pitcher. It just, absolutely. I mean, the Baltimore, it's at home. The lineup hasn't quite turned it on yet, but they may. Minnesota's hit pretty well, but that's a 5.
Yes, Dylan Cease is absolutely 5. Now, how about Matt Manning of the Detroit Tigers? He lines up for 2 at Toronto versus San Francisco. Now, Matt Manning in his 2023 debut picked up the win, and not just any win, a road win against Houston. No easy task, only 2 runs across 5 2/3 innings, 4 Ks. But the at Toronto on the schedule, that bumps him way down for me. I am intrigued by what I saw in that debut, but for Matt Manning at Toronto versus San Francisco, I think I can only give him like a 2.
Yeah, I think escaped is probably the word of what he did in Houston. 2 walks, like you mentioned, 8 hits, a 1.4 whip. Yeah, now Toronto, this is one of those things where I hope people read what I wrote before they played, because I wrote that they've been hitting the ball ridiculously hard. They've been hitting it into the ground. The home runs are about to come. And then Vlad and somebody else, was it Biggio? I forget. But there were 2 home runs that night. Mm-hmm. And I think that their power is coming, and teams are going to pay. And it could start, next week. So I'm with you in that I kind of treat it, whenever you're playing Toronto, I treat that as if you're in Colorado. I think that lineup is that dangerous. And I'm not starting anybody, not anybody, but you have to be really good. And Matt Manning, I'm interested, just not this week.
Yeah, same. I would look at him as a potential ad, but not somebody I would turn loose this week. It's
even against
I
San Francisco.
gave him a 2, but it's tentative. It's
San
a
Francisco's,
low end 2.
Yeah, that's right. We need to put an actual number. You know what? I am going 0.
You're going 0, huh? Okay.
But again, I'm interested in San Francisco's flashed a little power early.
A little bit. JD Davis has been a nice little start for him. Framber Valdez at Pitt versus Texas. That's like a 7.
What is this, Spinal Tap? Yeah. No, you're right. It's a 5. We're going, Texas will hit, but it's Valdez.
Now, when you look up crafty veteran nowadays in the dictionary, you'll probably see a picture of Zach Greinke. 0-2, but a 2.38 ERA at Texas versus Atlanta. I feel like the regression monster is coming for Zach. Like the guy's fun for the game and all, but and credit to him for performing so far. I don't think that performance holds up. I almost feel like at Texas has some sneaky blow up for him. He kind of always has blow up potential with the low K rate. So at Texas versus Atlanta, I'm only going to go 1 on Greinke.
Oh, yeah. You got a little Mark Fidgerton there. Did you see I don't know, this is a speculation, but there was some Twitter images where it looked like he was informing the catcher that he was changing the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was using PitchCom to change, to change
to
the
shake
pitch.
himself off. Yeah,
yeah. Who knows? That was the narrative, but it seemed kind of funny. No, you're right. I mean, yeah, I will watch the game because he's fun to watch, but I won't have anything on it. Do I give him a 1 because it's Zach Greinke? No, not with those matchups. I'm going 0.
All right. Yeah, that's probably the. I couldn't quite do that to Zach, but I think that's probably the right call.
Yeah.
No,
maybe it's because I still believe Texas will hit sooner than later.
We got a couple easy ones here. Nobody for the Angels, so Julio Urias for the Dodgers. That's an easy 5.
Yep.
And then who was the next one? That's
Alcantara.
Another easy 5. Sandy Alcantara. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, doing Sandy things already with the complete game. So
was his own closer.
Yeah, that's the best kind of closer is when your own closer. All right, for the Milwaukee Brewers, Wade Miley. How funny is it that Wade Miley's got a spotless 0.00 ERA and Corbin Burns is a 9.64 ERA?
Well,
both are at Arizona, at San Diego.
So you're saying I should trade and give up my Burns for Miley? Yeah, you know what? The San Diego one's tough. That it's more so for Miley because I think Burns is still Burns until proven otherwise. I know it's a rough start, but he's still clear 5. Miley, you know what? I mean, I like the Sunday start or the Monday start. Lefties, and talked about all the left-handed batters for Arizona. San Diego's tough though, man. I think I'm gonna go 2 for Miley and a 5 for Burns.
Okay, I'm going 1 on Miley. But I got you down as a 2, and Burns is still going to be a 5 for me until further notice too.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Just I can't overthink that too much, but
right.
And this time next week it could. Well, I guess not this time next week, but after the second step of that 2-step, Burns, the narrative could have flipped completely.
Yep.
On Corbin Burns, so I got him as a 5. Kenta Maeda. Now he's dealing with some fatigue, but he's said to be feeling fine. He went 5 innings in that first start. I was thinking maybe he could go a little bit deeper, but was feeling a little fatigued. He did have 9 Ks. What do you think here on Kenta Maeda, even with some fatigue issues?
Yeah, I think he's just going through the dead arm that we don't hear that word as much as we used to. But I think he's just going through the classic dead arm, having been off for so long, rehab, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Probably.
I mean, it was against Miami with the 9 strikeouts. They count, but it was still Miami. So I suppose with these matchups, I'm going to go with a 2 for Maeda.
Yeah, I'm going to go 2 as well. The Yankees start scares me, and
yeah, Yeah.
White Sox, even though they're down a couple bats, they can do some damage still. So I'll go 2 there. And Pablo Lopez, really good start for him. Same matchups here versus the White Sox at the Yankees. I think I'm going to go 3. He's a 4 pitcher with 3. 4 pitcher with 2 matchups, so he's a 3.
Yeah, that's where I was at. 3.49. Almost rounding up to 5, but not a 4, but not quite. So, you know what? I am going to go 4 because I'm not as scared as Yankee Stadium as others. I am going to go 4 on Lopez.
So you got 2 on Maeda and 4 on Lopez?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I got you down as a 4 on Lopez. I got a 3 on Lopez. We will get back to these 2-star pitcher grades momentarily, but we'll pause briefly and hope you'll bear with me here. And we'll get back to the content. Baseball is back. Swing into the MLB season with vivid seats and score tickets to all of the hottest matchups and biggest games of the year. Every crack of the bat, every deep center fly, and every heart-pounding double play from your favorite team live and in person. Plus, with Vivid Seats rewards, now you can earn rewards with every single purchase. Each ticket you buy gets you closer to your reward. Just buy 10 tickets and simply cash in all your credit toward your 11th ticket purchase. It's that easy. And here's a pro reward tip. Buy tickets for your whole group, split the bill, and make progress towards your free 11th ticket even faster. From behind the plate to the upper deck, Vivid Seats has great tickets for all the 2023 games that matter to you. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats. Experience it live. See vividseats.com/rewards for terms and conditions. Todd, we're back, and I just wanted to mention that we had a nice comment in the chat that said they just wanted us to know that they subscribed to RotoWire just because of last week's 2-star pitcher talk. So very nice. We appreciate that and hope you find value in all of what RotoWire has to offer. And by the way, check out our new optimizer. Just launched with opening day, and really good feedback so far on that new optimizer. So I hope everybody likes that.
While we're plugging things,
yeah.
It took me almost the whole year last year before I plugged in my teams or my leagues. Did it from day one. Feature. Oh, wow. Today was like the first day. I mean, I got to take real advantage just because it was the Friday, Monday got some time, just to do my draft champions. For those that don't, my league, you just hit this button here that it's on, I don't know, Fantrax or whatever on NFBC. And then you pull your league up and it brings it in. And you can get the best lineup, the best available free agents. You make the decision, but it does, based upon our data, give you some names. And man, on the draft champions especially, it just helped me out so, because it was one of those things where, oh no, I got to get it in by lineup time, and I made it just because of it was so quick.
Yeah, I love the My Leagues feature. Our tech team does such awesome work, and My Leagues is a huge time saver. And among all the tools we offer, I've actually heard people say that My Leagues is the most valuable thing we offer.
No one's listening. You guys that could be. I think people would pay for that as a standalone entity.
It's such an awesome service, and you can import your leagues. It's not like you have to type in every one of your teams. It's all brought in automatically from the host site. So big shout out to our tech team and good plug there. Back to the 2-star pitcher grades for next week. Max Scherzer is going to be a 5. Little uncharacteristic start for Max, and I actually thought the pitch clock might help him, but I think he's maybe some of these veterans are dealing with some fatigue as a result of the pitch clock, some added fatigue. I'm still going to 5 on Scherzer.
It's homer. He gives up homers. He's given up some homers. It's fine. Yeah.
And Garrett Cole's a 5. I'm kind of mad at myself for passing on him, I passed on him in the second at one point. Took Austin Riley instead.
Huh.
Not that I think Riley is a bad pick, but I probably should have just.
I got my Cole in the underdog. I don't have him in any leagues, but I do have him in the underdog. So anyway.
Now Jhony Brito was sent down, but he pitched really well in his debut. Scoreless at Cleveland, assuming he's brought back up, and then versus Minnesota. He's an interesting 2-start guy, but again, always consider that second one tentative. Even with that being the case, I'm still interested in Jhony Brito, given what we saw. More of a strikeout punch than I was expecting.
Yeah.
So with this 2-step, probably only going with like a 1, I think, but I'm interested.
I think I'm above the 1. I was going to say 3, but I'm going to back that off to a 2. But I am probably going to be starting him if I have him.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Jhony Brito.
I think some of it is
Todd Zola.
Now we will know more by the time we have to make our moves on Sunday. But part of it is, like you mentioned, it's not set in stone yet. And I don't know if I want to make a move for a guy that we know won't be up or maybe only be up for one game. If I have him on my roster, I'm using him. And he starts, I'm using him.
JP Sears for Oakland, that's going to be a 0 for me.
At Baltimore and the Mets. Yeah, it would have to be something like, at Pittsburgh and at Detroit. And it's not. So, yeah.
Yeah, I can't see myself doing that. Now, Matt Strahm.
This one I'm curious about.
Matt Strahm had a nice little outing on Tuesday against the Yankees. No decision, but only 1 hit, 1 walk over 4 scoreless. So only 61 pitches in that game. So 61 pitches to complete, 4 scoreless. I'm a little skeptical that Strahm can get to 5, even if things maybe if things go well, he get to 5.
It's versus Miami and at Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's important to note.
So that brings it above 0. That brings it above 0, right?
Yeah, true. Yeah, I think he's going to be on the Brito level for me, like back end of the waterfall. So I'm going to go 1, but I could see the case for a 2.
I like Brito more. I'm going to go 2, but I like Brito more. Those matchups are just too nice. Apologies to Cincinnati Reds fans, present company included. Right. My team isn't doing so well, so.
For the Pittsburgh Pirates, Roansy Contreras and Mitch Keller.
For the record, we'll give Nola the 5.
Yeah, I skipped him.
I'd give Austin Nola a 5. Well, no,
all right. Well, I'm marking these down so that we can recap these at the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
Roansy Contreras and Mitch Keller, they got to face Houston at home, then at St. Louis. 2 offenses that really scare me. So Roansy pitched well and kind of like the skills, but I'm only going to go, I don't think I could do it. I think I like Contreras as a hold on your bench, but I don't think I could start him here. I'm going to go 0 on him and Mitch Keller.
I'm 100. We usually agree a lot, but not almost. I'm in complete lockstep. They both look really good against Boston. Keller, help me. Was it the cutter? Is that what he's added?
That sounds right.
Yeah. Really look confident. And It was one of those cases where he probably should have been lifted, air quote, probably. But I like it when managers let their pitchers try to get out of jams. And who was it? It was Reese McGuire. Hit what was called a 3-run game-tying home run. But then upon further review, it was shown to be foul. But it went from, a 4-1, this is really good for Keller, to, damn, they left him in too long, to good call. Good call, Shelton. You did the right thing. So anyway, long-winded way of saying I like Contreras and Keller going forward. It's just a shame that one of their few 2-start weeks is this one.
Yeah, that's a tough way for the schedule to shake out for their 2 steps, but yeah, at least something to see there.
I think people will hold Contreras, but if people drop Keller, after a rough week, scoop him up.
Luis Castillo is still got a 0.00 ERA, and
Christine
at the Cubs versus the Rockies, that's a 5.
Yep,
probably 6
for me. The next one, you may not agree, but
Logan Webb versus the Dodgers at Detroit. all those Ks on opening day. Then he kind of came back a little bit versus the Dodgers at Detroit. I think I'm going to go with a 4. He's not quite a 5 for me with these matchups.
I think I've been higher than Webb than the field, so I'll stay that way. I'm going to go low end 5.
All right. Todd's got a 5 on Logan Webb, remaining higher than the field. Steven Matz and Miles Michaelis, they both got to go to Colorado then versus Pitt. I don't think the second end of the 2-sub's good enough to make up for it, honestly. So maybe I could see Matz. I'm going to give Matz a 1, but I think Michaelis is a 0.
Yeah, it's such a shame that, listen, if there's 32 starts in a year and 26 weeks, that means there's around 6 2-start weeks. And it's a bummer that one of the 6 for these guys, neither are going to get 6 because they're injury prone. But anyway, the point being, this particular matchup, I'm going to go 0.
Shane McClanahan is pitching like a bona fide 5. And I'll go him, but I'm going on the opposite end of the spectrum on Josh Fleming. He's got to face Boston as a lefty, then at Toronto. So not easy for McClanahan either, but McClanahan I know is up for the challenge. Josh Fleming, not so much.
Yeah, I'm not even that scared about the Red Sox lineup. But yeah, I can't. Again, at Toronto to me is like at Colorado. It's not because of the park; it's because of that team. When Biggio is hitting homers, things are good. Yeah,
Biggio homered yesterday, I think, or maybe it was 2 days ago. Now I forget. But Andrew Heaney has a 23.63 ERA. Is that bad? Or is that good?
I'd give Tim a break, but Andrew not so much.
Yeah, Andrew Heaney.
It's good to see Tim in New York during tout. But anyway, again, off-air conversation between me and Clay on air. It was really good to see Tim. Things haven't changed. He still talks a mile in a minute, and I love it.
So Andrew Heaney versus Kansas City at Houston. I need to see him right this ship, pal. So I think I'm going to go with a 1. And
I'm going to go with a 1.
It's a scary one, even.
Yeah, we're agreeing too much this week. You need to take next week off because of it.
I will be taking next week off.
We need a break. You told them you were seeing family. The reason you're sick of me. That's why you need next week off.
Friends, not family.
Okay. You used the family excuse last year. Let's see. Houston. I'm going to stick with a 1.
Yeah, and I'm going to have Alek Manoah as a 5. I think a lot of people would probably say 4, but really like the way he bounced back. And versus Detroit, versus Tampa Bay, this kid's such a stud. And swing and miss, and the velo was a little down, but then it was back on opening day, so I'm not too. I think when we were hosting XM last week, I said about a 6 on my worry scale on Manoah from 1 to 10. Now I'm down to about a 3. So
I'm a numbers guy. Numbers guy, all that kind of stuff. And, but there are people that, numbers guys. Manoah doesn't strike out enough. I've learned over the years you got to mix in a little bit of art to the science. And there's just something there with Manoah. I'm with you. I was high on him in the season. I'm high on him now. It's a 5.
Yeah, I love that, dude. So, we'll go 5 on Manoah. And then Patrick Corbin's a big goose egg.
That's just kind of a given.
He hasn't been a positive mark in years, I feel like. He's either a goose egg or maybe a negative if you do negative scores at home. All right, let's recap our pitcher grades. 2-start pitcher grades for the week of April 10th, 2023. Zach Gallen, 5. Kyle Gibson, 3. Grayson Rodriguez, 2. Nick Pivetta, I say 1. Todd, 3. Maybe a bit of just anger on my part getting burned by
and homerism on mine.
Yeah, I got burned by pick Pivetta up, hoping for 2 starts this week. Looks like I'll get 2 next week instead. I'm going 1, Todd 3. Garrett Whitlock, I say 2, Todd 3. Drew Smiley, 0. Connor Overton, 0. Luis Cessa, 0. Shane Bieber, 5. Herman Marquez, I say 0, Todd 1. Dylan Cease, 5. Matt Manning, I say 2, Todd 0. Framber Valdez, 5. Zach Greinke, I say 1, Todd 0. Julio Urias, 5. Sandy Alcantara, 5. Wade Miley, I say 1, Todd 2. Corbin Burns 5, Kenta Maeda 2, Pablo Lopez, I say 3, Todd 4, Max Scherzer 5, Garrett Cole 5, Jhony Brito, I say 1, Todd 2, JP Sears 0, Matt Strahm, I say 1, Todd 2, Aaron Nola 5, Ronzi Contreras 0, Mitch Keller 0, Luis Castillo 5, Logan Webb, I say 4, Todd 5, Stephen Matz 1, Miles Michaelis 0, Shane McClanahan 5, Josh Fleming 0, Andrew Heaney 1, Alec Manoa 5, Patrick Corbin 0. Anything else on your mind today, Todd?
Why don't we hit up a question that's in the chat? For those that are watching us live, Lickety Spit. I don't think that's his real name, but you never know. What's with the offensive output so early in the season? Juice ball, 2019 all over. All right. First off, the ball's not juiced. It's flying less than it's been shorter distances. Run scoring is up because hits are up, and they're not up because of the shift necessarily, because they're not up on ground balls. More fly balls and line drives are being hits. It's just 1 week of noise. So, and runs are also up because was it Tuesday or Monday night? I forget which night. Just a really high scoring night that it took from league average up to a run more than last year because of that one night, and a lot of fourth and fifth starters went. So I don't think we're seeing enough information yet to be able to judge the offense. Runs are up because hits are up and strikeouts are down. The ball's distance is less than it was last year. Observations, not really conclusions yet.
Yeah, you mentioned on XM that the average fly ball distance actually down, which surprised me.
Yeah.
Well, really good stuff. I want to thank everybody for listening. In particular, I wanted to shout out Adam Nicholson, who's listening live from the UK. He said,
"There we go. All right.
Love that. Across the pond, even we got listeners.
International.
So I love that, and really appreciate everybody coming through to hang out. And good luck this week. We'll be doing the same deal next week, although you will be with a mystery partner.
A mystery guest. I need someone out there who is adept at ranking 2-star pitchers. The industry is full of them. I just have to get one to say yes. Kind of like my prom that I never went to. I just had to get one.
It's a very inexact science.
So well, this time I won't be scared. I will actually ask somebody on the podcast as opposed to the prom. But that's neither here nor there.
Well, yeah, I hope everybody tunes in next week, and I'll be tuning in to see who the mystery man is. It's like
it doesn't have
WrestleMania 11 with.
Doesn't have to be a man now, does it?
That's true. Yeah, it could be a woman. A lot of great female experts in this industry too, of course. But one of my favorite mystery partner moments was, I think WrestleMania 11, maybe 12, when Owen Hart picked Yokozuna to be his tag team partner, and they won the tag belts.
Here we go.
R.I.P. Yoko and Owen, of course, two greats. The surprise tag team partner is always a fun gimmick, so we'll look forward to that, and hope you'll be back with Todd and I the following week and every Friday over the rest of the season here on the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast, brought to you by Vivid Seats.